Well,
Okay, all right, let's do it.
yeah,
For anyone watching, just laugh.
yeah,
That's what
yeah.
we do.
That's the whole point. Starting
Yeah,
on the right foot.
yeah,
Yeah. Um, it's also very funny to notice there's a shift when there's a formality happening, or like this is official, or this is serious now.
yeah. Suddenly, the audience seems to have arrived, even though the only thing we did was press record. So,
Uh, and I would also say that is related to our experience we just had of dancing and having someone observing. Uh, because I guess now the two of us don't feel like we are like watching each other, right? Like not too much of that. So there's already a kind of merging and like blending of sense of ourselves, and then no need to be like too self-conscious about this. And then now we invite more people into there's a little bit more of that.
a little bit more self-conscious. I noticed that showing up.
We all stand straight and like look serious. um, yeah, and but we really experience it as a kind of genuine, joyful performance, not performance in the faking sense, but performance in the sense of sharing and inviting people to see. Uh, and there's something very like joyous and rewarding about that.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
think it's just not always a usual experience to try something new that you know will make you very self-conscious, but you do it anyway.
Yeah. Yes, yes. So
Yes.
that's a practice. That's a practice. And yeah, I feel very grateful that you take the jump with me. And
Well, you tend to bring that out of people. So
it's a
playful. That's the word.
yeah, accidental self-forgetfulness. Yeah. Um, great.
So I am having a sensing of what's going to happen next. Are we doing coaching? Are we just talking about things happening in our lives? What's going on?
Uh, well, it's arbitrary, so I'll decide for now for us, since this whole is arbitrary. Let's do some coaching, and
Okay.
and then let me frame it, and then you will continue to add to like what it might mean or might look like. So coaching here is let's see what it means is one. It means that we are playing a role. I'm playing the role of the coach, and you playing the role of the coachee. And the the what it role entails is that the coachee will get to discover something like aha about the experience that might and that probably will change some of the aspect of the coach's life. Um, uh, the coach, by words, by present, by or even by nothing, is involved in that unfolding beautiful thing that is in front of the coach. Um, so that would be the framing of the coaching, and I will also add, say a few more things. One is done with the intention of service, and service is not always very pleasant. It can be like a little bit like, yo, you're pushing me a little bit too hard, like like tough love kind of thing.
Okay.
So So I'm imagining it might happen. I don't think it will, but it might. And the invitation is for you to say that no, this is too much. Just step back and say no. So
Okay.
that good.
Okay. Good.
Um, and then two is I call it the tender edge, tender edge practice. Is that we both know that the learning or the surprise or the aha happen at the edge where we kind of like don't really know exactly. It might be a little bit scary, and we want to lean into them, uh, and we want to lean into them with tenderness.
Okay.
Um, so not like doesn't have to be like yo, like I'm gonna grow. That, but we can just lean in tenderly,
Okay.
um, and hopefully joyfully and funny and all that too.
Okay.
Um, and then the last thing I would say that I learned this recently is the teacher Michael Neal said that
Principles.
yeah, it's great. You know, I love his work. I've been digging his work.
Okay. I took one of
And,
his course, but
yeah.
I didn't continue. But okay.
So what I've learned from him is that he defined coaching as the art and science of loving disruption.
Mm, okay.
The art and science of loving disruption. And yeah, I just love it. It's the beside the art and science, the loving disruptions phrase just speaks so much to me. Um, Loving because this spaciousness is yeah, it's like whole all of us. Um, and then the disruption part is like, well, sometimes you gotta interrupt people and like do the seemingly like push people a little bit and disrupt the usual way, and knowing that it is done in love.
Mm, okay.
Mhm.
I think we need to start soon because I'm feeling more and more sleepy.
Great,
I
great.
don't know. Okay.
Um, so yeah, so I'm just framing so that you know, like well pose for this, and uh, and yeah, I was thinking that as we now begin, and there was just one thing that I just saw and I wanted to bring it up, and we play with it, is
Okay.
your essence about dancing, since you mentioned that just now when you dance, it feels very different um, from say doing hip hop. And
Mm-hmm.
the inquiry that comes up for me is one, what is that difference in your words? And two, uh, what does that mean for other parts of life?
Well, when I was dancing, it was, as you said, like a fairy-like, more like gentle, happy, that type of dance.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I would say kind of graceful.
Mm-hmm.
And I think most of the time that is how I see myself be, my essence.
Mm-hmm.
But then when I also really like to dance to hip hop music, African drum dance type music too,
Mm-hmm.
uh, or Bhangra, like Bollywood type. So those are really high intensity, you know, sweat a lot, much
Uh-huh.
more masculine maybe,
Uh-huh.
and movements.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't typically go in that pace. I'm not usually masculine. I'm not usually high intensity. but the fact that I like those type of music,
Yeah.
and it makes me feel so free,
Yeah.
it's almost like a spiritual experience when I dance. I wonder what that is about. Like,
Uh,
so there's a question.
uh-huh.
Is there parts of me in my essence that maybe I don't bring out unless I'm dancing?
Uh-huh.
Um, is so I don't know. I don't have an answer.
Yeah.
And yeah.
What exactly would you say is the question? Because I heard the essence being brought out, but maybe not all the time.
Mm, I think my essence is always present.
Mm.
Um, but the love for high intensity movements, how does that relate to my day-to-day life?
Mhm.
I don't I don't really know.
Mhm. 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 Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. The what I heard was you have some affinity to the high intensity movement uh, with the African drum dance and hip hop, right? So, so that's a curious part because given your usual very nice and easygoing, and yet there is this love for high intensity movement, and then you say that it makes you feel very alive, almost free, and very kind of
Hmm.
a spiritual practice.
Yeah.
And what I saw is that there is something very attractive about that way of being that is brought out from you as you engage in it. And it is the inquiry is as simple as what other areas in life where there are there might be some of those high intensity elements that uh, you might feel the same way as you do African drum dance or hip hop.
There isn't anything that I can think of. That's the conjury,
Ah,
you know.
and why did you
Like
think that is?
um I don't know at all. Because it's like I think about all the things I like to do.
Yeah,
Read or talk to a friend or go for a walk. I mean, I run sometimes, and running can be more high intensity, but I don't really
right.
like to run.
Yeah.
Um, so the yeah, and I don't know, even if I'm writing, I don't think I'm writing like feverishly fast, you know.
Uh,
Um, yeah, so I don't. Maybe okay, maybe one thing,
okay.
maybe when I am on the road,
Uh-huh.
maybe you know when I have a lot of appointments and I'm trying to get everything done, and there's a like I want to see as much as I can, or like I need to get from A to B and then meet with this person and do that. Like I try to pack my schedule.
Yeah.
Then it there's not much time for thinking. Like
Uh-huh.
you just have to like just boom 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 and do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Then that may be similar,
Uh-huh.
and that can be quite joyful too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, that's yeah, that's wonderful. The rhythm, the chop 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 kind of
Yeah.
style for life, and yeah, I realize that, and in many ways, you and I are quite similar in this. Is that the default mode, the usual way is that calm and nice and spacious and all that, somewhat
Yeah.
more yin than yang, is great. And the exploration is see what else can be. And what I just heard you said is that it's a very different way of being for you. Um, Not better or worse, is different. It seems quite uh, exciting.
Yeah, it can be. Or if I'm somehow in one of those, what do you call it? Also, it's like the survival. There's some kind of show where you have to run to one place, look at it for a
Hunger
clue, and you
game,
go, what game?
Hunger game type.
You just are with a team of people and you're hustling to figure out the answer, and you keep running to get next clues. That type of intensity is fun. It's
Yeah,
fun.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, like you said, it can be joyous too.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just realized that. Well, actually, let me ask you the question then. Uh, what do you need to let go of, and in order to be that way?
I'm not sure. I don't really know. I know when I was younger, I packed my schedule a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever I have nothing going on, a day, I feel like something is wrong, and I get depressed. So I would try to do a lot every day. And but then when I realized that that was what I was doing to hide the fact that I'm actually not that happy as a person, when I quiet down, then you go through, do your internal work, and now you're at a place where you can be happy with nothing,
Yeah,
with doing nothing.
yeah,
So then there is really no need to rush and
yeah,
pack everything in a day. Um, but I guess if the situation arises where I have to,
yeah,
um, I'll be fine doing that. I could
yeah,
just see myself, like at an airport going, trying to catch different flights and like
yeah,
rushing to get work done while on the flight, like those type of times.
yeah,
Um, but it's not sustainable too. It's just good for a day or so. But I don't know if there's something to let go. I don't think I don't, I do notice that now I try, I don't try to overbook myself
uh-huh.
most of the time. Yeah, I don't do that. Um,
Mm-hmm. Hmm. Uh, when you say that, yeah, somehow I saw that there's a past experience with this pack style that is not so nice, and so in a way that past experience has influenced how we see it now. It wasn't that good, so I learned from it.
yeah,
And what came up for me is, well, what if that too was just a story? It's a story about the past, and like you
yeah,
said, it. I'm not saying so. You said when you have to, you can, or you'll be fine with that. And what if we reframe it as it might be fun? So it's not
yeah,
like when I have to, I can, but it might be fun to try that. Just like it might be fun to do African drum dancing, but you don't think you have to, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, I think something that has, if we say coaching is aha, it maybe like, oh, maybe if I go back to, crazy long work hours and you're trying to maximize every minute, that type of life, again, maybe it won't be so bad. Like maybe it could be fun.
Oh. Ooh. Uh, just pure speculation here, can be totally wrong. Is you that reminds me of the heroine journey. Is
Yeah.
you left the known world, you did, then you follow the call to action, then you go to adventure, and then refuse it, but then you dive into the underworld of that of inner work, and seems like you found deep wisdom there in that, just the level of equanimity that I know you have. Like you said, you can be happy doing nothing, and
Yeah.
what it might mean also that you can be happy doing something is
Yeah.
independent of the doing or not doing. And so I'm just wondering, what if that is the treasure or the gift that you have discovered in your underworld journey, and what it might look like to uh, bring it back to the normal world, which might be the same, but you have changed.
Yeah. And I really won't know how I feel until I actually get back in those situations.
Mm-hmm.
Recently, actually, there was an interview that came up out of the blue, but with McKinsey,
Mm-hmm.
and then, but after 2 interviews, it did not continue to move forward.
Yeah.
But so for a period of time, it was in this space of, oh, is this gonna go back to this really stressful, crazy life?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I had this inner resistance that came up, you know, like with the memories of the past, and feeling like, oh, I never felt like I was enough. I never felt like I was doing a good job when I was in those situations. Like all those fears came up, but then I had a conversation with a friend and was able to actually let go of all those resistance.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, but then the next day I got the news that it's not moving forward. So I just thought, oh, the timing is interesting. Like it would just help me get over this resistance, and then it's not going to happen.
That's beautiful, right? It's almost like that was the lesson that has been lined up for you. It's not about getting the job, it's about dissolving that inner resistance. And then once that job has been done, then the dissolving resistance work has been done, then the outcome, external outcome of getting the job or not, doesn't really matter anymore.
Yeah, maybe, but I was like, okay, then maybe preparing me for something. I don't know what that thing is.
Yeah, yep.
I don't know what that is. And now this conversation, it's like,
maybe,
hey.
maybe I'm just like subconsciously just priming you to get back to work.
Yeah. Hey, go find your African drum dance. Like, go do it.
It was masked as a dance, but it turned out to be some sneaky way of doing something else. Well, maybe, or maybe it's just what I saw, and what I saw as, potentially so beautiful and amazing that that I wanted to offer that observation of maybe seeing some of that potential.
I think it is a maybe. I don't know that it feels totally true.
Yeah.
But there's also actually another thing that I feel like could be like African dance. If I am just getting really emotional, the intensity of the emotion, I don't like it. And so then I try to calm myself down. I try to do things to escape the intense emotion. Either I freeze, or I just like make sure I go out to walk or like sing or dance to get the emotions out, to release it, so that I'm not in that state. And so yeah, I don't know if I can embrace being in the state where there's just so much emotion and it just sits for a long time.
Oh. And how is African drum dance relate to this? How do you make the connection?
Well, when there's intense beats, it's also feels like there's so much energy coming through the body that it pushes me to keep jumping or dancing, right? Even when your body is tired, you still keep going. And it's like, if I'm very emotional, or a lot of, I don't know, sometimes spiritual energy is just like coming through. Even if my body is tired, I can't sleep. It's like this. Yeah. And I don't like to be in that state.
Oh.
But maybe I can learn to like to be in that state if I just think of it like almost like an intense
African dance. Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know if it's the same sensation. I'm just trying to now just use this as an example. Okay, where else can this apply?
Yeah. I'm feeling inclined to explore seeing what if it is like that, meaning that an intense emotional or spiritual experiences is like African dance session. And let me share something that I noticed is it may not be about the thing itself. It may not be about whether it's African dance or is it somebody telling something terrible, or whether it is going to do in the jungle or doing some profound shaman work. It's an experience of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what I'm sensing is that it's pointing you to like your next level of intensity of joy and of pain too, because they go together.
Yeah, that is very true. That I have been observing, like almost like the heart's getting bigger and bigger, so that it can contain the deep darkness and the bright light, and hold the But then a lot of times my heart feels like it's in pain, but then I interpret that as, oh, it's heart opening. It's like being more and more open-hearted, and so you're, I don't know, more and more sensitive almost to the joys and the sorrows.
Yeah. What is your appetite for that kind of opening now?
At this moment?
Yes, and in general.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to do some experiment with me.
I totally could. Like now you said that, I have to like.
I feel up for the challenge. I've been seeing this image a lot. If you have seen Moana.
Yeah.
And I think I've talked about this before, that Moana like approaches the demon and return the heart. Like it's so intense, you know, the courage to love and the danger of the pain coming through. Like that's what I see. Build the warrior strength to Moana.
Yeah, I see you. I see not just your face, but your whole body is like, I am the warrior.
Funny, huh? African dance is very warrior-like, actually.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, warrior. And you know, though, I learned this from Angeles Ariane, who we both love. She said, warrior is just an old term for the like ancient term for what modern day calls leadership.
Yeah, yeah, I remember you saying that.
Um, and so, as you have seen that warriorship or leadership knocking at your heart's door quite often these days, what do you imagine possible?
So I kind of trust signs, right, that shows up in life. And as you have pointed me to Bill Hopkins' book, I've been like working my way through that book, right?
Right.
And it's funny how when, you know, whenever I go back to it, it's almost like, hey, next stage for you.
Yeah, yeah,
Hey, you
yeah.
know? And yesterday, I think I went back to it, and it's like, I don't know if I'm past Wellspring or, you know, going into the next one, which is artistry or something.
Uh-huh.
Basically, you
You
no
master the craft.
longer craft. What did
Yeah,
you say? Yeah.
you master your craft. You have
Yeah.
mastered your craft.
I actually don't feel like I have.
Yeah,
So I don't think I'm there.
yeah.
But I also have started to see some signs that maybe it's starting to show up.
Uh-huh.
Um, who knows? But like it says, you know, before you kind of follow, you learn from other masters,
Yes.
and you try to perfect, you know, the craft according to how, you know, what you're learning from them.
Yes.
And then the next stage is actually you are now coming up with your own unique way to deliver something.
Yeah.
And it's going to be brand new. Nobody have created it before.
Yeah.
Um, I feel like maybe that is starting a little bit,
Uh-huh.
but majority of my work still feels like I'm just like thinking about, oh, what have I learned before? What has been effective for me? Can I teach it to others? Can I share it with others?
Uh-huh.
But I am starting some little steps of, oh, this is a brand new thing. I don't know if I know anything about this. Like, let me just try
Uh-huh.
and see what I can come up with. But
Uh-huh.
it's just very, very beginning. So there's that.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, but at the same time, I said that I still feel like even mastering a craft, I don't feel like I have mastered any craft. I feel like
Yeah.
I only know everything 30%, like just enough.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Nothing is deep. Everything is shallow, but it's just a lot of buckets of shallow.
which is which which is itself is a master craft in itself. There's yeah, like multi-talented generalist, Swiss Army knife, probably organizational Swiss Army knife. You probably one of those people. Uh, um, and yeah, I I have a few things coming up for me in terms of what I saw, and as you say, I'm just like seeing that, and in a way, I discovered that part of the artistry is just to freely give away without thinking whether it's a good or not. Uh,
Mm,
and I think that's actually an element of artistry. Is just really give away.
mm,
Um,
mhm.
so without claiming that I have any artistry over this, I'm gonna give away some possibilities
Okay.
and then questions maybe. The first one I saw is that as you are exploring the African dance way of being a warrior and leaders, I'm just very concrete thing in my mind here is where you bring that into your coaching work with women, which um, my guess is that you have been great at how spacious you hold them and you understand the challenges, the unique challenges of that, right? So there's that motherly holding.
Yeah.
So, like, clearly then people are drawn to you for that. Uh, and what I saw is, what if after you have got people into that safe, loving embrace of the mother, you are like squeeze them a little bit and hit them up and do all the magic of the intensity.
Oh.
That's I mean, that's Amazonian Wonder Woman type, right?
Oh. Yeah, challenging them. Yeah. I yeah, maybe, I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah. So I'm just offering that as some possibility.
Okay.
Because and the reasoning behind that for me was that if our work is really to support and in a way co-create the holding environment for for everybody to become more whole,
Mm-hmm.
uh, then that sounds like adding something beyond the usual nice spacious way, right? That
Yeah.
is adding a more wholesome layer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm,
I can see that.
mhm,
We will see if it shows up. But
mhm,
I think what this conversation is almost, putting a seed in my consciousness is, be more willing and give yourself permission to uh, challenge others,
mhm.
uh, knowing that I always do it from a place of positive intent. Right?
Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it right now. You challenge me. Something.
Okay.
I mean, put it to practice right now.
um, what I can challenge you? You are someone who is willing to do experiment with anything. So I don't know what would challenge you. Um,
Okay, not a big far away thing. It can be right now about right this conversation.
okay. Um, uh, I have no idea. It's like the only thing that's coming to me is like, I challenge you to make me laugh, but you already make me laugh. So that's not very, that's like, I'm already making myself laugh. I don't know. Okay, I think what would be harder is I challenge you to be serious.
Okay.
Don't think you can. Okay, we'll see. Pretty
Okay.
good.
Let's take a deep breath. Challenge accepted.
Amazing. Energy just shifted so fast.
Mhm,
Wow.
mhm. Yeah. Uh,
Really great job demonstrating your the breadth of your flexibility.
mhm. Mm. Uh, Thank you. Thank you for giving me that chance to demonstrate.
Mm,
Um, and the challenge was very good, very spot on, clearly done with good intention of, in a way, pushing me a little bit out, right, of the usual patterns. It's a loving disruption.
mm. Thank you for role modeling that for me. Yeah, learning to be assertive and powerful has not been easy for me. But maybe it can just be switched on once I decide it's possible.
Well, you just did it. So
Yeah.
you have no more excuses to say, wow, I don't know how to do it, because you just did it.
I don't know if I did it. You did it. Like showing I did it.
No, you said that, let me think about a challenge. And I got it, and I challenge you to be serious. That was very assertive and powerful. And because of that, I responded.
Okay.
I rose up to you.
Okay. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for pointing that out. I didn't even realize that was happening.
Mm. Mm. Yes, that made me also want to point out that assertive and powerful doesn't mean like you have to do this or you have to do that. I think our experience of power is in how big of a shift can happen. That's power.
Mm. Mm. Yeah. It reminds me of this talk that I saw where this person is an expert in mediation between parties. And she talks about how in a situation where people seem to be all agreeing with one another, then she would ask a question that basically instigate a fire in the conversation and see if there's conflict that's underneath the agreeing. Like if you dig deeper, you realize it's not actually all agreeing. But then on the other hand, it's when people are really arguing with each other and in total conflict, right? Like how do you skillfully de-escalate the situation and find common ground? So it's, the power is in your ability to watch the dynamic of the space and put in what is needed.
Yeah. And we all have it. You have it. I have it. Everybody listening have it. And maybe some of us have a default patterns. For you, might be more of the de-escalating energy, given who you are, and you are also an Enneagram 9, right?
Maybe, probably.
Maybe 9. Just,
yeah, 9.
Energetically, it just feels like that to me. I think probably a 9. So soothing and nice that everybody feels comfortable around you. So that is the default patterns, which is a gift in itself. And the 9, upon integration, sometimes can act what seems like a 3, performer, superstar in the under the spotlight, in the fire, bring the fire even.
Yeah. Interestingly, I've been also using this analogy a lot for most of my, when I'm comfortable, I always think I want to be rain, I don't want to be thunder. I just want to be soothing and almost same as everybody else, and I don't want to be too loud, I don't want to stand out. But then if you want to change something, in the dynamic of a workplace that's not working. You have to be thunder in order to do that.
Yeah, yeah.
So embracing thunder, yeah, I think that's part of the journey at this point.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly support that journey. Bring thunder into that. That's yeah. What I'm curious about is what's a fear behind it? What might happen if you are the thunder?
I think it's at the most subconscious, always present level is what a good Chinese girl should behave, and all the way down to childhood about shouldn't talk back to your parents or really express how you feel in a way that is not acceptable.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I think that's like the roots that are deeply in the ground, and to you'll remember that was when I was younger. That doesn't mean that applies now as an adult.
Mm.
There's that, but then there's also, I think, trusting of myself that has developed, I guess, over the last few years, to know that I have a good intention, good heart. And so if I feel something is necessary, I should trust it and almost push it. Yeah, and I think in the past when I'm not so sure, I don't know if it's my ego speaking, I don't know if I'm really doing something coming from the right intention.
Yeah.
That I don't want to
Yeah.
make a fool of myself in some ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's then you said something important. That's the don't want to make a fool of yourself. Yeah. So this is I find this challenging to express this, is that there has to be a serious or sincere acknowledgement of the depth of conditioning and history that we take into account, right? In this case, there is being woman and being Chinese. There's a depth of history there that we would not be wise to totally dismiss. And yet there's another part of me that is sort of the reckless part, and like, that's just all story made up. And I'm just expressing like that's how I feel. There's a part of me that is a nice and thoughtful guy who want to acknowledge that the depth of history and being a woman, being Chinese, that, and then the reckless, disruptive part of me is like, that's just story.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel about hearing you say.
Yeah. And I guess, what's most important is what is the situation asking of a person, that is needed, and being able to be flexible and effective for the greater good. Yeah, it's like keeping that in mind makes it easier.
Yeah, and I have no doubt that you always sense that, like you feel this is what the situation needs, and most of the time, like knowing you, when you show up to other people, you show up because you care for them. Zero doubt. I mean, I'm wondering what might be holding you back from those slightly different responses, like maybe more thunder-like, not rain.
I think it's easy to be thunder when you feel like the other people already accept you and know you. But if I'm with people who I feel like they don't understand me, you don't really have credibility with them, like in a business situation, right? And then yeah, to be like thunder, it feels scary.
Scary of what?
Scary of being perceived as outrageous or yeah, just I don't know, not capable, ineffective. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I'm just noticing. I'm just noticing that what you said also lands on me because I have that too.
Mm.
We, you and I both have that fear of being seen as incapable and ineffective and somewhat kind of too naughty, right?
Naughty.
Like not being received, not yet being totally trusted and already wreak havoc and bring disruption.
Can you say that again? I missed it.
Like not before the situation seems ready and then the people feel trusting. I might have jumped in and disrupt the whole thing already.
Mm.
And yeah, so I hear you on that. That's a common fear.
Mm. I also thought of another fear, but then now I can't remember. So that's okay.
Yeah. Um, I'm aware it's also getting late for you.
Mm-hmm.
So we will find a way to wrap it up. I do want to uh, kind of, we just opened up a Pandora's box and
Okay.
it might be a good idea to at least temporarily like close the box.
Okay.
So the way that I would say, and we just practice right now what you just said about when we care for other people, then we see what the situation needs, and we don't really think about that, whether this is too much for them or not. We just see what the situation needs, right? And I would like to propose that we use the closing as a dedication for those who feel similar to us in this
Mm.
way, right? Those who are afraid that they're seen as too like too quick, too soon, or like perceived as incompetent and yet already doing something like crazy. I'm quite sure there are more than just the two of us who feel that. And I would like to use this last closure as a dedication, where each of us will say a dedication to the people who feel the same way.
Mm.
And also psychologically, there's something about giving someone else advice that we have to eat our own dog food when we say that.
Yeah, I know. I know
So,
that. Okay. I can go. Guess the reminder in those situations is that you never really know what's going to happen after you showed up and said something. Maybe in the moment it may be received not so well, or you may feel bad.
mhm.
But in the long run, maybe it actually changed something. You just don't know. A lot of times we don't know what's the impact we have on other people until much later. So keeping that in mind. yeah, just trusting yourself.
And free ourselves of the need to evaluate the result right away. Yeah.
That's great.
Thank you.
Do you have anything else to add?
Yeah, I'm saying this so that I will have to eat my own dog food too.
Okay.
Is that for me and for you and for those who feel scared of not daring to do that different thing, our fear of not being accepted or not being effective, I will remind us or point us to the sense that we are already fully, completely, wholly accepted already, every moment already. When there's that, then yeah, things will go as it may. Let that phenomenal world unfold. That's what Tammy Simon would say. Let the phenomenal world unfold, and remembering that who we are now is already complete, accepted, wholly loved and embraced.
Thank you.
Thank you. And let's close by a nice bell and a moment of silence.
Okay.
So let's just take a moment of silence first and dedicate this. And allowing all the learnings and ahas and gifts to permeate. Hmm. Hmm. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for this. And